Welcome to the AME Food Safety Show. Today we have a special guest over the telephone line, Dr. Karl Kolb. He's the Chief Science Officer for the High Sierra Group, a compilation of several companies, including his own chemical company, his own food inspection company, his own testing companies and certification, and he's also a founder of Ceres University in Wisconsin. The issue for us today is to look at the issue of deep cleaning for drains and the new development, and I'm proud to say a co-developer with Dr. Kolb in this product, of the use of enzymes for the cleaning of drains rather than caustic and hardcore chemicals to destroy many of the constituent elements of the baseline of those drains. And Dr. Kolb will review the importance and science of enzymes and how it advances our cause for safe food. Karl, are you there?
I am here, Andy. How are you today?
Awesome. Thank you very much. I'm very excited to have you on the show today, Dr. Kolb. I realize your time is valuable. First, if you could review what the current status for the last 20 years has been for drain treatments, then we can move on with the rest of the topic.
Well, over the last many years, many drain treatments involve very caustic chemicals, acids, things that clean up the drain, but they work against the drain. In other words, they tear into the metal, they tear into the plastic, and while they remove what's in the drain, they're just very tough on the drains. They're very difficult to handle. And quite honestly, heretofore, people felt that they needed to take the drains apart and physically clean them through some mechanical process. These chemicals haven't worked, and although we've sold them and you see them in many stores, they're just very difficult. They're not environmentally friendly, and quite honestly, they're expensive, and we don't need to use them anymore. We've replaced these chemicals with enzymes, Andy.
Excellent. Let's talk about some of the specific applications in food processing plants. You and I have been in a lot of them. The food processing systems incorporate a lot of different fumes, gases, chemicals. They end up in a food factory at the top, and then through maintenance and cleaning, end up down in that drain. Let's talk about drains, Karl.
Well, when we use enzymes, and remember, enzymes are responsible for thousands of metabolic processes that sustain life. They're very selective. They greatly accelerate and really enhance a metabolic chemical reaction. These are the best things for drains because they go into the drain. They specifically focus on those things we find in a particular location, and there are many enzymes that can go after a particular fat that we might find in a food, such as a grease trap, or they might be very diverse, where they can take after proteins that you find in food, lettuce, meat, poultry, frozen food, and take care of a wide range of things. It particularly depends upon what we're going after, and the enzymes that we like in particular, those that go after those you find in food plants, those for produce, poultry, meat plants, where you have a specific fat that we can target and then remove them. Now, the problem with drains is they just cannot be cleaned well, especially when they're sunk into concrete. They're way below floors. You just can't get to them. The best we can do is get down about a foot maybe with a brush or something and scrub harder on the drain, but that's not doing very much, but just taking off a layer of paint, so to speak. With an enzyme, we can get deep into these drains and remove anything that's between the top of the drain all the way down to a collection box and even farther. And with enzymes, we've got proteins that when there's a catalytic reaction, this reaction will stay and be enhanced all through that drain. Even though we may put enzymes in there at the top, they'll continue to eat, grow, and take care of those ionic substances within the drain that we can't get to, and within a matter of hours, sometimes days, if it's a very old and clogged drain, totally remove what's in them. And it's all done through this process where the enzyme is acting to assist the catalyst of breaking down the fat. Now, if you left the fat there for quite a number of years through a natural process, it would break down. But the enzymes allow us to get in there with that three-dimensional enzymatic structure attack the fat that's in there, attack what's in there in terms of any other dirt or something that may be of an organic matter, and eat it over a period of time. Now, what's nice about being able to focus these enzymes to a particular problem is they won't take off after something else. So they won't live past a certain point. They won't take after a particular substance that you may be processing or may be using, and they will work only for what we want them to attack. It's a four-step process, and you and I know that with drains and floors and lifts, water systems, lifts, refrigeration units, they're just tough to clean. And when you have an enzymatic action going on in there, a reaction and another action and a reaction to attack these biological systems, there's nothing more successful. There's no harm involved from a dangerous chemical. There's no harm to the system. There's no harm to someone who is using the product. And if we can use these over a period of time, if we can attack a tough drain over a weekend, for instance, we'll clean up that drain forever. And we only need to go back in there on the maintenance status and put that enzyme in a liquid form and allow it to go to work.
Dr. Kolb, you mentioned some very important areas for people to understand. That there are bacterial organisms in floors, lifts, water, closed systems, and refrigerator units, and also in dumpsters. You and I both know. How would this particular new product, which is called the deep cleaning drain treatment, help both food producers and homeowners and restaurant owners attack these organisms?
Well, once you remove the grease, the fat, the dirt, the bacteria, many of the toxins that are in there, you've removed your problem. Number one, your drain works. Number two, there's no odor. Number three, it's very safe. Number four, you're not going to find a platform for Listeria, E. coli, and a number of pathogens to grow. And you put this in a dumpster, you're going to remove the odor, the grease, whatever's in that dumpster, and the ability for that dumpster through an airborne process move pathogens through the air. You put it in a drain, that drain is not going to breathe pathogens back into your restaurant. You put it into your sink, you put it on the floor, you're going to have the capability of removing bacteria rather than giving you a basis to start bacteria where you have to go in with another chemical like a sanitizer to remove it. So enzymes are just exceptionally versatile. They work very much for us, and in a sense they're a lot more inexpensive because you're not taking your drain apart, you're not having to build a new drain, you're not having to apply odors to combat other odors. They're just exceptionally successful in the terms of cost, in the terms of application, in the terms of what you're doing for the environment.
Dr. Kolb, you mentioned a very important principle, which I have a very big challenge in representing to food owners and food managers, and that's the concept of aerosolization. Once the organisms have populated to a certain point, even walking across that drain or driving a forklift or any kind of device actually spreads it. It's known as a cross-contamination. Can you review that for us? And I believe you wrote a paper on the specific number of days from an environmental contamination to a cross-contamination of the product produced in that food plant.
That's correct. I've written a couple of papers about the effect of cross-contamination, that a very poor environmental program, testing, cleaning after and various pathogens, can be, if you don't do it correctly and allow the bacteria to grow, to be a 7 to 10 precursor days to a contamination event. That means within 7 to 10 days of knowledge of a pathogen, we can expect to find it in food, we can expect it to harm someone. So we're putting an enzyme in there, we're going to remove everything in the cracks of the floor and the deepness of the drains, and you're not going to have these things going on. If you use a chemical, what you're doing is you're killing. But you have the ability for the product, for the pathogen to come back again. And we don't want it to come back. And when you remove the food, you remove the ability of a pathogen to grow. You remove the ability of fat to continue being fat. And so through this process of enzymes, we can get in there and clean up the cracks, clean up the floor, clean up the drains, and it reduces by a significant percentage the ability of a pathogen to cross-contaminate and hurt someone by contaminating the food that you may be producing.
Dr. Kolb, thank you so much for your comments today. I'd just like to relate our conversation with a very recent event here in the Central Valley of listeria found in an apple processing plant in an environmental test taken by government auditors. How would you have used this enzyme cleaner to prevent these people, 28 people, having been contaminated with listeria? Over.
Well, I'll summarize it, Andy, because we have very few minutes left. But I would perform a risk analysis, determine where my hot spots are in an environmental program. I begin to test those hot spots, and where I found there to be pathogens, listeria, salmonella, E. coli, I would begin to employ these to a very, very robust sanitation program, and then use them as my last step to ensure that all the dirt, protein, the fat, whatever may be there is removed, so we don't have the ability to provide a tremendous culture for bacteria to grow and cross-contaminate in the food.
Dr. Kolb, thank you so much for our call. This is the end of our transmission. I look forward to your participation in future shows. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Moreno.
Bye now.
Bye.
Thank you very much and appreciate your participation. Look forward to the next show.